It's just being like, oh, we're just going straight to sexist women be shopping kind of a thing. But
Women. Women be shopping, right, Craig? High five.
high five. That's funny. That's humor, son.
That's
Let
comedy.
let come on. Let's pass this wound down for another generation. High five. Welcome to Talking to Tomatoes, the podcast where we talk about the Christian children's media we grew up on, not only for the quality, but for the pernicious propaganda behind it. My name is Eric Eberly,
And I'm Jubilee Alexander.
and we are excited today because we have been, as you may have noticed, been sort of sliding towards an issue where the free versions of Odyssey podcasts that we had initially found we were running out of them, and the ones that were left weren't very good. And we are absolutely opposed to paying any money to focus on the family to continue this.
No.
So what are we gonna do? We found some more. I initially found a group on the Internet Archive, and then Jubilee found another website that has like freaking everything. And
I don't even know where I found that. I literally just Googled it and was like, oh, look. It's
yeah, apparently we have to look on the second page of Google. What a drag.
unthinkable.
But yes, and the first group that I found actually what started like episodes 1 through 50. So we're talking 1987
Yeah.
for some of the stuff. I'm also excited to kind of go back and look because something that I didn't know is that the core Adventures in Odyssey radio program was not the original show. The original show was some weird. I gotta go back and listen to it, but there was like less than 24 episodes of something before they were like, "Hey, we got something here," and we turned it into a show. So we are today going to go through episodes 1 and 2 of the Adventures in Odyssey radio program, published in the fall of 1987. But speaking of retreading old ground, what we're going to talk about first, what makes us happy today. And for me, there's nothing but the Artemis 2 rocket launch. We're going back to the moon,
So
baby.
cool. It's so cool, dude.
Uh,
I had heard, I saw the Artemis test and I thought it was for probes. And then they were like, I mean, it was clickbaity material, but they're like, hey, we're going to the moon and no one's talking about it. I'm like, who the fuck's going to the moon? Like,
who?
what are you
Oh,
talking about?
us?
They said people are going to the moon.
Like
Oh,
what
it's so
people?
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Me? Do I have to be somewhere?
yeah, it started. So we are recording this on April 1st, which was, I think, the earliest of the launch windows that may occur. Of course, they're being super careful. If a frickin' pigeon coughs within 50 miles of the launch pad, they'll scrap the launch and wait for a better time. But they are currently sitting on the launch pad as we speak. It is like 2.5 hours before it's expected to launch. The last time I checked.
God.
So yeah, it's going to be the first time people have been to the moons since the 70s. They're not going to land this time. It's going to be like an orbit, and then I believe
It's an Apollo 10, something like that, were they?
I think they compared it to Apollo 8, but I don't remember the numbers super well.
Well,
Um,
fine. Know your shit more than me.
the next one, Artemis 3, is going to be like I think it was going to be an orbital docking test, and then Artemis 4 in 2028 is supposed to be we're landing on the moon. So
So cool. So cool.
the a bunch of, we have devolved into 8-year-old
Yeah.
astronomy obsessed children again. So that's mine. I mean, I know we're both super excited about it, but what about you? What's making you happy these days?
So the thing he just described is not an April Fool's joke. We are actually doing that. This next thing is want to fully proclaim, but in the wee hours of the morning when news posts, it's usually like the early afternoon in England, is when most Warhammer news drops. Most any updates to the rules or something. As you know, I'm a big Warhammer head. But someone I saw a Discord notification that says, "Oh, new points got released, blah blah blah," something like that. And then I went and checked, and 0 minutes ago, this morning. This would have been about 6:15 in the morning. 0 minutes ago, they posted Warhammer the musical, and it was. I actually, what since the recording started, I saw someone go, okay, so they found a bunch of they had all this music recorded, but they found really good cosplayers at Adepticon, the big Warhammer thing, and said, come to this stage real quick, and we're going to film a musical. So there's just a couple, and so it's so funny, and they've got all this thing, they have this behind the scenes footage, and it's like power armor interpretive dance director. But it was really funny, and like I immediately like I posted it everywhere and was like, yes, I'm aware that it is April 1st, and everyone's like, oh my god, and I keep getting messages. People are like, oh my god, we're gonna go see this when it comes to Seattle. I'm like, no honey, it's not real.
You're like, I'm not excited the way you think I am. I am manifesting this.
Yes.
If we all freak the hell
Anyway.
out, then maybe they'll make it happen. Man, imagine buying a new combat patrol. I was like, shit, I don't know this game as well. But in the lobby of a Broadway theater, well, I guess it would be West End, wouldn't it be? A West End theater, and buying a custom combat patrol only available at the at the show.
Hey, don't give GW any more ideas.
So the two episodes we're looking at today, uh, both posted in the last 2 weeks of November 1987, are episode number one, Whit's Flop, and episode number two, The Life of the Party. And boy, they are boring.
They're
I was
very
really
boring.
I was really expecting some more. I don't know. I watched a couple, pilot episodes for some TV shows, that are kind of like middle of the road these days, and I was like, whoa, they really swung for the fences. They're like, we're getting all the good jokes out if this is only going to
Well,
be
usually
one
they're trying to
season.
like, yeah, because usually you're trying to, on a pilot, you're trying to sell the concept. But this is clearly something they're just slowly getting going. I mean, it's like, do you ever watch like, for as good as they are, if you ever watch like Mel Brooks' older stuff, the amount for as quick and witty as they are, they pause for jokes all the time, and you're kind of like, keep going, come on. Like even like Men in Tights, I recently watched that, and I was just like, get it? I'm like, yeah, man, keep going.
I wonder if yeah, well, that's interesting. I wonder if that's like a whole. Oh well, I worked hard on the other jokes. We're not going to keep doing a joke while people are still laughing. So there we go.
Well, I
Um,
mean, then the second episode, we there was even like a guy goes home, his parents have a fight. He goes, no, stop fighting. He runs away, and then there's this dramatic breakdown in the middle. And then when we come back to there's fake commercials, and then they come back to the episode, and the guy's running like having this recollect like the echoey recollection of the conversation they literally just had.
the
Yeah.
one scene ago, and one commercial break, which I have to say I was thrown off for a second because I was like, what the hell are they talking about in these? Because there's actual like commercials in the second episode, but they're like referencing like a website and stuff. So these are obviously not. They did not have whatever, Mr. What was it, like Kid Normal or something, or Jimmy Regular. There's some
Yeah.
weird comic book thing that they were talking about, and they gave a .org like website. They gave the
Yeah.
website for it, and I was like, Adventures in Odyssey did not have a website in 1987.
I don't think anyone had a website
I,
in
I don't think
1997.
anyone did either, but we'll go. Yeah, so the first episode is it feels like such a weird thing to open up on. The basic gist of the episode is there is a retired basketball player who moves to Odyssey to open up a store, and there is potentially some mystery or some intrigue in the reason for his retirement, because he sort of retired early, and it just becomes a whole thing. The 1940s beating the
Eating the payback. Oh, the press guy, the
yeah,
guy.
the press guy. Really, he
Come
really talked
on.
like this. Come on, Lightning, give us a set. And God, every time they said Lightning, I wanted to say McQueen.
Also, shout out to the only time when you could have a white voice act, an obviously white voice actor playing a basketball player. Early
Yeah.
80s is Larry Bird wannabe. Last time you
Yeah,
could pull
fake
that
Larry Bird had just recently retired to open up a sports store in Odyssey,
in this tiny ass little town where, and
which
we apparently knew Whitaker.
putting together the puzzle of where this is. I know it doesn't exactly mean anything, but in episode 2, which we'll get to, they talk about having moved from Columbus, Ohio, to wherever they were. Which again,
Where
technically, you put
where's Focus on the Family based?
Colorado Springs. So
Oh,
maybe that's where it's supposed to be. But yeah, and again, kind of filling in one of the blanks. The press guy asks the Lightning, whatever his last name is, why you moved to such a small town, and he's like, I wanted a small town. So we're like, okay, we have it on the record. Odyssey is a small town, which I mean you could kind of figure, but that explains why
I
the
I hate the way capitalism has messed with my brain. Where when he said that, he's like, I wanted to move to a small town to open a business. I was like, because that's a great business idea. Yeah, let's open a flagship store in a really small
yeah,
town.
not Times Square or wherever the Basketball Hall of Fame is located. Now let's go to a town with less than 30,000 people in flyover country. There's no details about like what team it is or how exactly good he was. I mean, one of the kids who this character the character is my hero, says he's the greatest ever, but that could be literally anybody. I mean, I remember being obsessed with a particular sports star when I was 8 years old, and I didn't actually know if he was any good. He was just the I latched on to that idea and just went with it.
I had a Colorado Rockies hat that I won from I won like a free hat from a bottle cap on sodas. Used to just open the things and it would be like, you want a free soda, and you would just hand that to someone and you would get it. This was one of those, and I got a Colorado Rockies hat. And in that year they were really bad because I was always checked some little thing on the newspaper. We are massively dating ourselves. It's like, remember soda bottles and checking the newspaper?
If only we got if we all had an as, but the as if Pepsi bottle thing that wins you a car.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Anyway, it comes out that Whit knows this guy, the sports star, for some reason. Oh no, he's from Chicago, which I mean, I guess at the time that would sort of imply that he was, the Bulls were pretty
Playing for
hot
the
in
Bulls.
in the late '80s because they reference Whitaker's past working. I think it was in journalism in Chicago, and that's how they met. And then when it came time for him to retire, Whit was like, "Hey, come to Odyssey, I guess." And so of course there's the kid. By the way, I just have to comment on the voice acting in the early one. All the kids sound so far. All the kids sound like they're this far away from the microphone. And it's like push them. Somebody push the kid closer to the microphone because it sounds like they're standing outside of the room talking to the adults who are really close.
Weirdly, it makes me think of them as being even younger than they like. I have no idea how old these kids are supposed to be, but some of the kids are reading very young, and the fact that they literally sound short makes me
Yeah,
go,
Focus on the
oh,
Family couldn't afford an adjustable mic stand, so they're like, "Sorry, you
or
just
a
got to tilt your
chair.
head up." Yeah, or somebody to stand behind and just hold them up. Anyway, as everyone's getting so excited because I think one of the things that the basketball star is going to do is like coach a local team, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so great!"
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's Michael Jordan or Larry Bird coming to your small town and coaching your team. But then a bunch of other kids are like, "You know why he's here?" And the little kid goes, "What? He has a drug problem." Dun dun dun. And they have a big old yelling match about it. Then he goes and asks a bunch of people about it, and everyone is like, "No," or "I don't know, maybe that's just what the big papers say."
There's also tons of really creepy things where he's like, yeah, then he drove me around in his car and then he took me home. And look, I think he drove me around his car. I went to his house and then he came home and got to meet my parents. I'm like, what the hell?
That order does not make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I suppose he's technically, if he's the basketball coach and he's sort of vouched for by Whit, I guess, but still, having a young child over at someone's house when the parents haven't even met you is wild. And then after all of this, like the little kid is sort of feeling like, oh, this is too bad, like that everyone's saying all these mean stuff, and then he like asks I keep wanting to say football, the basketball player, if it's true, and he goes, it is, and he's like, no, no, yeah, it's not true, yeah, and he runs out, and later he like goes to Whit's End and has a talk with Whit about it. Yeah, just I know it's just the, again, this sort of distribution of blame where it's like, yeah, it's kind of disappointed that someone's made a mistake. That's too bad. But also, you should apologize to him too. And the kid goes, for what? And I'm like, yeah, for what? For being disappointed that in 1987 that a sports star had a drug problem?
Well, especially when everyone's at like weirdly, rare moment of being at least a little bit cool. Whitaker doesn't seem to think it's that big of a deal.
Well, I mean, there is kind of funny because there is the scene that, again, it's just the weird storytelling of, after that sort of comes out, the Lightning goes on to the news and like corroborates that yes, the rumors are true. Part of the reason why I quit was because I had a drug problem and I'm getting treatment and I'm getting better. But then he also is like, by the way, I just became a Christian. And oh, and then he says, as far as I'm concerned, this is a closed matter. And I'm like, yeah, that's how this works. You get to decide.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh, he says it's a closed matter. I guess we don't get to have any thoughts about this anymore.
I'm just now realizing they're saying drugs, not steroids, or do they make that difference?
They're not
Are they
specific
super
about what it
okay?
is. I mean, I think it is
I guess in my
implied
head I
that
was
it
just
is.
assuming it was steroids, but
If I recall correctly, he specifically says that he's like getting treatment for it, which makes me think that it is a recreational drug of some kind, because that's not just, I don't, not that would prevent them from saying something like this, but that's not necessarily. I mean, I guess I do understand that you don't want in a little kid's show for them to specifically talk about him. Oh, he's caught with 13 vials of human growth hormone, and driving home from Sunday school and be like, Mom, Dad, what's human growth hormone?
what's a tab
cocaine?
of acid? I can't remember if I've talked about this before. This is barely related, but I was in a play one time and I was supposed to be peers with these two kids, and the actors were like 20 and 22 or something, and we were all supposed to be college students in this one scene getting drunk, and these kids were like acting like Looney Tunes characters, so I had to like, I'm like, oh, my little babies, come here. And so I go and talk to them and was like, okay, this is how you literally act drunk. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so mature and so worldly. And literally with those same two actors, not 6 months later, I was in a Vietnam show, and like it's written by veterans who of the Vietnam War, talking about like doing heroin, and like they're like, hey, we found some heroin, let's do it. And I'm literally like, I don't know. I'm like, what does private tab? What does heroin feel like?
What does it look like? Where does it go? What do you do with it? I know from movies, I had to learn how to do pretend cocaine for a show. I did it once on stage, and it was like, I can't sing after even snorting because it was like coffee creamer, especially when it's far away. It doesn't matter that it looks like powdered sugar, not like grains. And so I did it once, and I was like, nope, I'm just gonna do a little and like swipe it off
with my hand.
Sweep it off on stage and go, whoa, that's hachi machi. That'll put some pep in your step.
Woo! Drugs! Yay!
Yay! I really hated the end of this episode where they get to Lightning comes back to the kid's house and is like trying to explain in a way that's not. It's not really an apology. It is more just like an explanation and kind of an excuse. about like, yeah, this is how it happened. But it's also like it's very dismissive of the child feeling betrayed by what has happened, because like the kid comes into the room and is like, what? And he's like, I need more. Like, he says something to the effect of like, I'm gonna need more than that. It's like, screw you, dude. Like, you don't get to feel bad or get to make him feel bad about the
Yeah,
way
you
he's
don't get to.
receiving this.
You also don't get to dictate the terms of your relationship. Like, you don't get to insist that he feel a certain way about you when you are a very specific. I feel like he should be prepared for this.
Certainly, I mean, especially since it's sort of, I mean, at least to me, it's more or less implied that like Whit is somehow involved in his like recovery process. So, whether it's like literally helping him, or Whit was the reason that he's now like a Christian, or whatever, or like, hey, get away from the big city.
Like, taking a small step back, too, is like, focus on the family and the entire political right have been demonizing drug use for decades. And literally, the fact that it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, they're not doing it is it is a baffling way that they are treating it when this doesn't feel like like what anyone believes.
Like I feel like if I heard this, because this obviously, as we've talked about before, we didn't actually listen to this show a lot growing up, but I feel like if I had heard this show in that, obviously not when it came out because I was too young, but in the 90s or something, I'd be like, wait, but he's a drug user, that means he's bad. Like, I would feel a weird like dissonance in what I had been taught, like you just said, about like it's always bad, it's always a sign of like moral decay and whatever. But then we've got Mr. Whitaker, who's being very supportive of this, which, I mean, again, that's a good message to share, but it's also like, it just everything about this feels especially dismissive of the kids who, even if you were trying to do a good job, don't really have the nuanced view to be able to go, okay, like there are some
So
specifics
is
that
it
we
more
need to know.
complicated than drugs are bad and anyone who does them is bad? Like,
Yeah.
again, that would be a really interesting thing. Maybe they even have to tell them in a gentle way to not be like, yeah, I'm your hero and I did drugs. Cool. Like that.
Yeah.
It's just a very odd. It's an odd one. So, flawlessly, effortlessly transitioning. In the next episode, a kid tells a bunch of jokes and his parents hate each other.
Yeah, right. So
Cool.
this episode, what's it called again? The Life of the Party. It's very funny because we listened to an episode already that had something had a almost similar premise. There was someone who's making jokes.
It was a kid who decided that he was going to be funny. Because didn't a
That
girl like just say that you're funny?
it was the kid who wasn't good at anything, and then someone suggested that he try jokes, and then that's right. Okay, that's right. I'm remembering this now. But yeah, so it's like it starts out with him telling jokes in in Wit's End. The framing of these episodes is also a little weird in some ways, because it's like, I don't know, it feels a little like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood almost, where Chris is like, let's see what's happening. It's not just like, here comes the story. It's I mean, it's kind of a small difference, but
I
it
feel
is a
like she does
difference.
that from time to time. It's a little bit like, hey, let's jump on into this adventure in Odyssey.
But
What's
there's a
up?
kid.
What's up, Chucklefucks?
The so the kid, shit, what's his name? Curtis? No.
Craig?
Craig, that's it. Is a kid who's very fun. Who's like new to town, and he's very funny. I missed until we got to the parents fight that they were new in town. So that kind of makes more sense, that he like showed up and was really funny, and then so he's like walking into Wit's End with his entourage and is telling, honestly, a pretty funny joke. The Because he's like, knock knock, who's there? Orange. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But then he goes, oh, orange, you gonna let me inside or something? And I'm like, ha 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 ha. That's actually pretty funny.
For a 7-year-old, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
Um, and then
And
they start something right here that drives me nuts. Like the amount of times Whitaker does this canned laugh of ho ho ho, Craig ho ho ho. He probably says that like 8 times throughout this, like these 15 minutes on there. It's like every other minute he's doing this. Like again, this is goes
oh,
back to
you
the
knucklehead.
shucks a Rooney. Like what's going on? It was really fucking annoying.
There's also a thing that's very funny. There's like he like delivers his joke, and then there's this little kid who doesn't understand the joke. Which again, how old? How these freaking 4-year-olds running around Wits End because you have this
Yeah, the
little kid telling a
7-year-olds
joke.
are delivering these zingers, and these like, yeah, 4-year-olds are like,
I don't
I
get it.
don't understand language.
So then, of course, we have the hallmark of any great humorous thing, which is Whitaker now spends about 4 times as long as it takes to tell the joke, and it's a short joke, but still to explain the joke to the little kid who then still doesn't get it, which is sort of a joke in and of itself. And then Whit goes there's it's a flash sideways to Whit visiting the joke teller Craig's dad, who is a goddamn Amelia Bedelia character to the level to which he doesn't understand what Whit is saying, which doesn't like come up in any other like way. So it just becomes a frustrating scene where he's like,
He's just communicating. He's just not being able. He will not receive information in a regular way.
yeah, he's like, where does he get it from? And he's like, well, probably from a joke book or like something like that. No, it's like, no, I'm talking about like from his mom and dad. He goes, I didn't give him a joke book or something along those lines. It's just like, especially because the sort of thing that comes out later is that his dad is a handyman who is helping Whit do something or fix something, and he's also like struggling with having enough work to
Customers.
support his
Yeah.
family, sort of a thing. It's like, oh, this got serious kind of fast. But it's like that never. It's one of those weird things that they spend all of this time coming up with it, and then it never comes up. I was wondering if it was going to be, we're skipping sort of to the end here with the if I were doing it, it would be something like, so the dad is not like a funny person, and so his son as a funny person, there's a mismatch there. But I was wondering if they were going to do a thing where it's like he needs Craig's humor to like connect with people, or when Craig learns that his dad is like struggling for business, he like talks to all of his friends because the subject matter of the episode is friendship. And I was like, oh, this is going to be like friends helping each other. They all go, well, your dad fixes things? That's so cool. My dad's
Oh,
too
my
busy
mom's
to
been
help.
bugging my dad to fix the garage door for, yeah, it would have
Did
been
this, did
a
this, did
cool
this, did
way. It
this.
would have been community. It would have been, connected. I kept thinking that Whitaker's special friend, who's always hanging out at the bar, eating so much ice cream. I don't understand.
Well,
I
initially,
expected him to give him the like some more work or something.
yeah, something like that. The ice cream thing is that the thing that the dad is fixing is the freezer at Wit's End, which he has to take somewhere else. Which we're talking about an industrial, like a place like Wit's End that is an ice cream store does not have
Well,
a
he's
freezer.
probably taking the motor or condenser to work on it. I was like,
Okay, maybe that's going on. But anyway, he's basically like, well, it's not gonna work while I take the motor or whatever. And so then Whitaker is like giving away free ice cream. He's basically got to empty his stores so that the ice cream doesn't melt. And so
what kind of plantation ass money do you think Whitaker is sitting on? Because I feel like his
oh
business makes no sense.
yeah, no, there's some dark history here. Also,
Dark generational wealth.
speaking of the voice, going back to the voice acting for this one, there are several characters that I'm pretty sure are voiced by the person who goes on to voice Eugene. That just do a weird little thing, and I'm like, that's Eugene. Oh, that's also
Yep.
Eugene. So Jimmy. God, they're all Jimmy.
Craig.
Everyone's named Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Craig goes home and is like talking with his dad, and while he's talking, his mom comes home after the dad makes this weirdly kind of sexist remark about her always going into town and stuff, and it's like, okay, calm down.
Yeah, I kept being like, is she cheating on like it felt like it
Something
was
like that.
so loaded. I was like, what's she like he brought it up at least 3 times where he's like, why are you always going into town? What's she doing in town? Your mom's always out of town, always going into town.
I mean, 1987, episode 2. I was it's just being like, oh, we're just going straight to sexist women be shopping kind of a thing. But
Women. Women be shopping, right, Craig? High five.
high five. That's funny. That's humor, son.
That's comedy.
Come on. Let's pass this wound down for another generation. High five.
How's this one? Did their parents fight really? Was it like the most? It was fairly well voice acted because like it was like I felt genuine emotion being communicated, but the conversation was the most insane thing I've ever heard. They're like, I'm in town to get a job. Why are you getting why are you getting a job? You're always on me. Like she's mad because they've been there for 3 weeks and they don't seem to have a plan.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No, 3 weeks. It's 3.5. Okay. My bad.
You're like, cool callback to earlier in the
25 days. My mistake.
Sorry, I thought it was 21. But yeah, so Craig is like trying to like tell his dad a joke, and the dad again setting up the Craig as a solution to the issue. The dad
is
like
just mean to him.
He's just mean and doesn't want to listen to his son's joke. And then
you can
Mom
listen
comes
to
home.
your kid just jabber while you do something and be like, haha, good one, kid. Like,
You wait for the
yeah,
end and
okay,
you go,
okay. Hey, listen, as someone who deals with lots of kids and these kids, I'm trying to, well, I'm a school bus driver. While I drive in my bus, kids are talking to me and I have no idea what, like, sometimes I literally don't know what they're saying because little kids will be speaking to me in Spanish and I'm just like, oh, no me diga. Or a kid will tell me a story and goes, da, 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 da. You know? I go, wow. And they go, yeah. I'm like,
No,
all right.
You're like,
Communication.
no kidding. That's amazing. I can't believe it. Crazy.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying not to run other cars over.
But yeah, so mom and dad mom comes down into the workshop, immediately they get into a fight while Craig like a
Like a
neglected
puppy, like an angry puppy is like,
neglected puppy.
hey guys, I got a joke. You're always doing this. Want to hear my joke, Dad? I was like, well, maybe we should just move back to Columbus.
We could go
You
right
guys,
now.
stop fighting. Oh yeah, they're like, let's go tonight.
What's the difference between I never loved you? Oh god. Yeah, he runs out and they go to a commercial break and it comes back in the thing that you were talking about how he's literally having the most echoey flashbacky sounds for a conversation that happened 45
4
seconds
lines
ago.
ago.
It's funny because someone's like, "Hey, there goes Craig on a skateboard. Let's get him. Let's follow him." And then he crashes. And then in the stupidest Foley artist thing ever, you hear the classic "you've been in a bike crash and there's a wheel still going," except he's not on a bike. He's on a skateboard. It's you literally hear the click 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 of the thing. You're like,
I
he
didn't
was
catch that.
on a skateboard. What are you talking about? And the kids go and they're like, because this is sort of like a comeuppance because earlier Craig is making a joke about someone to someone or someone's doesn't find him funny. And then he's like, that's just because your parents are getting a divorce. We're like, whoa, Craig, relax.
Yeah.
And then he goes home and his parents have this big old fight. And
Well,
then you're like,
that confused me for that reason. I was like, wait, was that? I thought someone else was joking about Craig's parents wanting to get about to get a divorce.
no,
or
because
something.
there's the kid who's like, yeah, my dad is moving out this weekend. And you're like, whoa, like
drugs, divorce, Odyssey's crazy.
yeah, hitting the, yeah. So it's kind of like Craig's comeuppance for not being considerate with his jokes is now your parents are fighting too. And he goes, oh.
He snaps at his friend. His friend goes, "Whatever, forget you," and leaves. And then Craig wanders to go have a nightcap at Wit's End, interrupting some salacious ice cream based flirtation between Whitaker and his special man friend. What's the guy's name? Do you remember?
Tom Riley
Tom.
is the
Tom
characters
Riley.
who we've seen before. He's some old friend of Whit's, and yeah, it's a very sus relationship. He's like, do you like my ice cream? I made it special.
How's the ice cream taste? Ooh, it's melted. You can just feed it to your dog if you don't like it.
You can just feed it to your dog if you don't.
Craig! Oh, I didn't see you
coming. Oh, Craig! I didn't see you there.
So they're having a conversation, and God, again, just one of these things that I thought was something very cool because like Craig comes in and he starts complaining. One of the things that he's saying to the two men is he's like, my friends only like don't like appreciate that I'm going through something. I mean, it's not in as many of these as in as many words, but he's like, I'm going through something and my friends only want me to be like the funny guy. And I'm just like, oh, no, man, that kind of sucks. And then Tom starts talking about the ice cream and how there's seeds in it. And I'm like, oh.
God, it was such a clunky metaphor.
And then Whit grabs it and runs with it about, and again, and I don't really love the message, but he's like, hey, wouldn't it be wild if you were planting only one type of seed and then being disappointed when your garden only flowers one thing? And I was actually kind of impressed at like Tom and Whit sort of where so Tom and Whit were like going back and forth trying to make this point. And I was just like, wow, that is like I don't know, some like deep level wisdom where they both identified the problem and then started a story about it. And it was basically again sort of blaming Craig for his issue. He's been there for 3.5 weeks and he's the funny guy, and his only friendships are about people who want him to be who hang around him because he tells funny jokes or something. And he's like, I know, I want something deeper. And they're like, you should cultivate other relationships in a different way. I don't know if I know how to do that, let alone like an 8-year-old to like specifically go, I need some deep friendships. Let's go and cultivate those. It's also not like you're going to get those in 3.5 weeks either. You're like, okay, let me map out how this friendship is going to go.
Hey, I can't believe, 22 days ago, you weren't attempting to deepen your friendship. Like, it is not bad advice, but it's doubly clunky because they have to, so it's sowing versus reaping what you sow is the biblical metaphor, which like for children's media, they're also then having to describe a fake situation, which is sowing one thing and getting something else. And so they then have to course correct and say, oh, wait, that's actually crazy to think that if you only sow one kind of seed, you would get other things. And I'm just like, yeah, my parents are going through something. Can you drop the botany lesson? Like,
anyway, the craziest thing about the whole deal is Craig literally is like, thanks for the advice, runs out. They talk for like 90 seconds, and then he runs back in and goes, it was a big misunderstanding. The end. Like it turns out it was just an argument. We're not actually leaving. And it's like, cool. Okay, but yeah, so I think what we're going to do in the future here is, rather than certainly go chronologically, because this was
painful.
This was painful to do.
You know what we should do? This is as much as us planning as something. You can leave this in an episode or not, but we should probably like each listen to an episode, and if there's something worth talking, we tell the other person about it, so we can cover more episodes. And if they're both good, then we've got 2 episodes to talk about.
Hey, there we go. We're also thinking we could go through and like, because like episode 4 is called Connie Comes to Town, and we're like, cool, like let's do the origins
like in the book.
Like in the book. But yeah. So we'll look through some of these ones and kind of see what we can find there. In the meantime, you can follow us on the socials. We have, of course, the podcast is available on YouTube at Talking to Tomatoes, and our TikTok, Talking to Tomato. And also our individual TikToks. I am Eric.Eberly.
And I'm Titan of Joy. And you can also find me on Blue Sky at Jubilee Titan of Joy.
Talk to you later, Tomatoes.
And I'm Chris. Why can't Whitaker quit Tom? Let's jump into the next adventures in Odyssey to find out.